Okay, here we are again with the headstock overlay applied, and we're still raw on the back. And what I've done is I've put a couple of locating pins in here and here in order to facilitate keeping my fingerboard in position when I glue it. I've pressed them in. I don't know if you could see them here. Yep, that's the pins there. And I have a couple of pin marks down here that fit into there, so I can easily refine my position. Now that fits on there and it keeps it from sliding. We're going to glue the fingerboard on today, old school. And I'm using my special magic wood glue. As we all know, the luthiers have all these special adhesives. But this is actually Elmer's wood glue, carpenter glue. I use Type-On often enough. When I do acoustic guitars, I like to use the Luthier's Mercantile Instrument Maker's glue, only because it dries really clear, and I like to keep the interior of those guitars as clean as possible, and sometimes it's a little hard to get the yellow glue off on the interior once you've glued it. So in a case where I may have missed a little bit on those acoustic guitars, that gives me a little bit of forgiveness. Now, I don't want too much on there, but I do want it spread nice and evenly. And I will get, wherever I see a dry spot, I don't want to spread too thin, so I may have missed a couple spots. I'll put a little bit on there. I want to be sure that I get it out to the edge. Because I'm going to validate my clamping by looking and see if I have squeeze out along my edges. And I don't want much, so I just want to be sure the glue is out there, all the way to all the edges. No dry spots on the edges. Okay. Get my locators. And there we are. That's located nicely. And here, I'm just going to get something to hold it in place. So I'm going to put one up here in the front. One in the back. Be sure that I'm on the location. Again, the thing about these cam clamps is, I know when I have students too, there's a tendency to want to go, really pull up. You don't. It's not really required. The cam clamp holds quite well with a minimal of pressure. Now I'm going to use a lot of clamps on here. And that's one of the reasons I leave the bottom still square. Makes it easier to clamp. But you can do this even if your neck is shaped. While I'm doing repairs, it's easy enough to clamp on. The cam clamps grab nicely even on a rounded back. Enough to clamp the fingerboard in place. And there are as many ways to clamp this as there are luthiers and guitar builders in general. So this is just the way I'm doing it for this particular moment. And let's see if I can get in here and see any of the squeeze out on there. I'm not sure that it can be seen. But maybe it can. And since I'm holding my iPad, it'd be tough to also hold a light. So that looks pretty good. And that'll be it for this moment, and we'll come back after it's dry. Okay, we're back again. It's, I guess, about 3 hours or so. And we'll get the clamps off. And we'll see what we have. I do have a clamp rack over here. And there we have it. Looks pretty good. No gaps. Squeezed down very nicely. Now I think I'll get to doing the headstock inlay, and we'll be all set with that. Okay. We are going to be shaving the neck. This is a coarse microplane, also good for grating cheese. But I found it to be, for me, better than files. Takes off the material a lot. It's easier. I don't really have to work all that hard. Keep your vise tight. And what I have is a simple 2x4. Really wonderful. PT1 model, which is the P90 in the neck and a Telly style pickup in the bridge. Still got a bit of a flat spot on the top, which is where I want to measure at the top, and I want that to be about for my liking, 915 thousandths. And about 979 there now, right around the 12th fret, is about 50 thousandths larger, which is really what I like. Keep it about maybe 50 to 70 thousandths difference. I'll come in with some round rasps. A little bit bigger one that I'll work with. And I'll typically draw what I want up here. I come down almost at the center, almost in a V. Another, starting out with kind of a V. It always gets nice and rounded off there. So. And the file is good for some detail work, which is what I'm doing up here. Just want to get a little volute, I guess. Coming out really nice. Okay, I'll get back to that in a bit. That's a little bit here that one. And there are a lot of guys who do this with a spoke shave. I have one here. To be honest with you, I'm not very good with it, so I don't use it. You got to find that tool that works for you, that you're comfortable with setting. This over time has become a very comfortable tool for me. Hence, I use this the most. And when I teach classes on guitar building, this is also the way I teach it. This is what you wind up doing here. is actually feeling very good. A little more around here. I want to make sure I have no flat spots. Down here, it's all about what you see, what you want, how your entry point, you want it to look, transition. Okay, so I think I'll hold up on recording, continue on with this for another 10-15 minutes, and I'll be done with it, and then we'll get back to the process.